Yeah, you have to go easy on me. This is the first interview I've done in a while. So
Oh, wow, that's
yeah,
all right. That's all right.
yeah. Just my friend works for Al Arabia, so he couldn't make it. He's in Kuala Lumpur right now. So
Oh, okay. So you're standing. You're kind
yeah,
of standing. So what do you do?
I
normally?
run. I'm the head of sales for a little brewery, but I used to do I did a degree in journalism
Oh, wow.
and did like zines and stuff.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
That's
I wasn't good at it.
Just sit back.
Yep,
Yeah,
sure.
when you're ready.
Yeah, wasn't good at the actual like proper journalism stuff.
Oh.
Got kicked out of. Got kicked out of a reparative therapy conference once. So, yeah. So I just want to say congratulations on the film. Like it really shows that you've put like a lot of like love and work into it over the last 5 years. So it's really nice to get the chance to talk to you about it.
Thank you.
No, no problem. Just I was wondering first of all, how were you in dialogue with Kipling over this?
How?
How were you in dialogue with Kipling? Because like you did a really good job of it, but like obviously there's like slightly more potentially colonialist and like slightly outdated ideas.
Yeah. Absolutely. I
Yeah.
mean, the one of the things that we, had to really consider when taking this job on was, what does Kipling mean in the world today, and how is he viewed? I mean, obviously he was an incredibly popular writer of his time, most beloved author of his generation. But of course, he was a child of the British Empire, and he had colonialist attitudes, and we embrace that in the storytelling of this film, because one of the characters, the hunter character in this movie, which is actually written as an Indian character, we made as a white hunter, and it was really to bring in that sense of understanding India's place in colonialism and two things really, that we see how the jungle is being encroached by man, which is also representational of imperialist
Absolutely.
England. But also he is a white hunter, kind of collecting and trophyizing jungle animals. And then also really looking at Rudyard Kipling as a child and growing up in India, because it's very complex. Like the rest of this story, it's all about dual identity. It's all about finding where you belong. And Kipling was brought up in India, and Hindi was his first language. So he spoke that was he considered his first language, and it was his home. And then he was sent away to England when he was about 7 or 8 years old, and had a terribly brutal upbringing in a boarding house here. And actually yearned for this sense of home. So he's a very complicated, complex man, and also what he stands for and how he's viewed now.
Totally. Yeah. Next question. Why Baloo?
Baloo, we'd cast all of the other animals, and I wasn't intending to play Baloo at all. Actually, I wasn't intending to be in it, because I knew I'd have my hands full directing. And then sort of the producers were all staring at me, sort of saying, "Andy, it seems a bit crazy that you're doing a performance capture movie and you're not going to be in it." And I sort of went, yeah, perhaps maybe I should. And but then I had a real take on. Then I decided, look, I have a real strong take on how I wanted Baloo to be played, if it was going to be played by someone else, or if I was to play it. Which was that he is this. In the book, he's very much the teacher, the survivalist. He's like the Bear Grylls of the time. He teaches the kids how to survive. But he's like a sort of he's like a gym instructor. He's like a really tough gym instructor / drill sergeant who puts them through their paces and really wants them to survive. That's all his job is to teach the cubs to survive. And he does have affection for Mowgli, but he's not overt with his show. He doesn't show it too much.
Sorry, like you're like I try to get out, but they keep bringing me back in. Yeah. So just wondering about how does your process differ whenever you're inhabiting each role you inhabit? What did you bring to Baloo, and what did you find in him that you didn't have maybe in others?
Every single character is different. I mean, you're approaching it. You're not. For instance, you're not when you take on a performance capture role and you're playing an animal like an ape, or in this case, Baloo, a bear. You're not just focusing on the animal side of it. It's all about personality and character, because you are anthropomorphizing these characters. You're bringing human psychology and emotion into them. Especially with this. I mean, from Mowgli's point of view, these are his family, and it's not like they're learning to speak like in the apes movies. Yeah. They are fully. That's their language. They speak. So So you're really using, as I say, you're trying to find out what is at the quintessence of the character, what is at the heart of the character, and for Baloo it was this sense of duty, I suppose, and he is, in fact, going back to Kipling, I based him very much on some of Kipling's poems about the military, about soldiers, about like they were called the Barrack Room Ballads, and I wanted to kind of incorporate some of that into Baloo.
Okay, and just lastly, I know you fell in love with the scripts, like when you first read it. Just how did it evolve when it became a collaborative process, like over the 5 years?
Yeah, I mean, the roots of it is very much still there in terms of the tone of the storytelling. But we wanted to focus. I mean, it changed in terms of making it even more Mowgli centric. Actually, as the filming went on, really carving his journey out as the central thing. And also, for instance, the character of Kaa, her position changed within the story quite a bit. We made her more of the sort of the all-seeing sort of prophet who is the Gaia of the jungle in a way, but not a sort of Gaia that is protective of everything. Sort of a self-surviving character that wants the jungle to be safe so that she doesn't run into trouble. So she has this dual sort of role as the prophet who's goading Mowgli to find his destiny so that he will protect the animals in the jungle, mainly to serve herself.
Yeah. That's understandable. All right, thank you so much for your time. It's really nice chatting to you.
Yeah, you too, man.
Yeah.